What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Playbook Sports Podcast. Coming to you guys with a full studio. We got the boys. We got downtown Sage Brown back in-house. It has been a minute. Sage, how are you? Before we get into today's video, guys, I just want to give a special shout-out to today's sponsors, starting with Goldfine & Bowles, Lawyers for the Injured. Personal injury, workers' compensation, those are their two things, but any sort of legal advice, they're the people to call. Give them a phone call, 309-673-5144. Tell them we sent you, okay? And I'd also like to shout out SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video as well. Use promo code PlaybookSports on their website to get $20 off your first purchase of $30 or more. Let's get back to the video.
Feeling good.
Oh, I'm sure.
Feeling good.
I am sure you are. What a game. I mean, statement game. And then Lamar came out, spicy Lamar on the podium.
Yes, he did.
I don't know, Mike Flores, wrong name, but whatever.
Flores.
Mike Flores, man, that's disrespectful, man. Like, we got to feed our family. We got to feed our kids and stuff.
Hey,
you know,
we're grown men just like them.
And boy, they were the grown men on the field. They made Brock Purdy look like a child.
They bullied the bullies.
They did bully the bullies. I mean, do we have a quarterback controversy in San Francisco? Sam Darnold went out there and looked damn good. Damn good. Purdy didn't know what he was doing. Still throw a pick.
Still throw a pick.
Still throw a pick, but a touchdown.
Everyone throws a pick against that defense.
Apparently, man, that was an impressive win. He did last year, but also threw 6 touchdowns. So I'll take that again. All right, that's fair. You guys can have 2 picks. We'll take 6 touchdowns.
Chuck Clark, Josh Bynes, Marcus Peters on the field.
Yeah.
It's different this time. It's different.
It will. If he throws 6 touchdowns, I'll be pleasantly surprised. Let's say that. Colin, great game this weekend. A lot of fun for rivalry week, obviously. Not the ending you're hoping for, but not a whole lot changes. You're already in the playoffs. You guys are moving. You're going to be healthy. Teron Smith is going to be back. Hopefully, knock on wood for health for everybody. How are we feeling going into this week?
Yeah, I've definitely been better.
Yeah.
And I've definitely been worse.
That's right.
So
right.
It's kind of a weird middle spot for me. So
not the highest, but not the lowest. We're here.
Okay.
We're still going. As Bears big win last week.
Big win. I mean, domination.
When we get into these mock drafts, man, I don't think the Bears may be taking a QB at 1.
No.
When we start doing mock drafts, I don't know if they do.
I don't know, man. I will say Fields, some interviews he's been saying, like, if I'm not here next year. He's got to say all that stuff, but it's just like,
I saw this thing floated out by Big Cat. Big Bears fan, obviously, so he's going to float out some nonsense. But he's like, the Chargers are trying to reset their cap, trying to get some money off the books. Justin Herbert for the first overall pick. Who says no? I mean, what are we doing? If I'm the Bears, I'm like, I'd probably do that. Herbert for the 1 in an instant, right? And then you deal Fields to the Falcons for a early 2 or whatever you can get for him, something good, and then you roll with Herbert.
That'd be crazy.
Herbert, DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah,
Look
that'd
out.
be wicked.
Here we roll. That would be wild if the new GM for LA comes in and goes, I'm blowing this thing all the way up.
That would be crazy.
This thing I'm going nuclear.
Yeah, he'd be fired in 3 years,
Immediately fired.
right when they suck.
Yep, as soon as their bad, he's gone. Last week was not kind to most of us when it comes to picks. First of all, 0-4 in Mortal Locks.
Love that.
That's tough. Only 0-4 because somebody forgot to send us picks into Mortal Lock. No pointing any fingers. But last week, Sage, in the games he did pick, went 9-5. Best week for sure. Brought you back to tie with me for most wins at 119.
There we go.
I was second last week at 7-9. Colin and Bobby both went 6-10.
I had a bad week.
Addison went 5-11.
Okay.
Not terrible.
I thought it was worse than that.
Nope, not terrible at all. We've had worse. We have had worse.
Yeah, me.
Much worse. So pick record, Sage, we're both tied 119 wins right now. Mortal Lock record 9-7, 8-6-1. I mean, it is right there.
That's right there.
It is right there.
That's right there.
Bobby is bringing up 3rd right now with 112 wins. Addison bringing up 4th at 110. And Colin, rough couple of weeks after you were so hot.
I know.
You were right on the edge.
Right back.
And now we're 105 and 126. We're back to 21 games under. Still 2 weeks.
Crazy.
Hey,
I need
still 2 weeks.
As well.
Still 2 weeks. So
2 weeks.
anything can happen. Right, the playoff picks will be coming in hot. Oh yeah, we gotta
lock in here.
Yeah, we gotta really study the board this week and bring our best. Colin, locks last week 2-3, first losing week in a long time. I mean, San Francisco money line blowing the money line parlay.
Oh, I put Bears in a money line parlay.
And the Bears aren't the one that loses it for you.
San Fran didn't stand a chance.
No, it was not
pretty. They were spotted 2 points.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, by the ref. Great tackle by the ref in the end zone. By the way.
Yeah, that was wicked.
I mean, maybe defensive player of the game for the Niners, honestly, because nobody else played well.
I've never been more mad.
I knew it. I could feel the anger.
That was gonna be a difference maker in the game.
Oh
yeah.
Same.
They're gonna lose by a last-second field goal, lose by 1 because the ref tackled Lamar in the end zone. Granted, maybe Lamar shouldn't run 20 yards backwards because they were on like the 22.
Fair.
But also, You don't expect the referee to be laying down in front of you.
Nope, and then laughing about it afterwards.
Right, chuckling. It's like, oh, he's got money on this, doesn't he? Son of a bitch.
He's trying to send his kids through college with this game.
Yeah, he's got a lot of money on this
Another
night.
one of the losses was Eagles. No, that was my mortal.
That was a mortal.
What was
The other one you had Eagles minus 6.5, first half hit.
Yep.
Oh, God, I don't have my
One
paper
was
with
an
me.
under.
Yeah, under Green Bay, Carolina.
That's
Under.
Yeah, 33,
Yep.
30.
Way over. That went like almost double.
I forget what the third one was.
Yeah,
but-
I'll have to think about it and get back to you on that.
Yeah,
I'll find it.
we were going back to 3 this week.
Okay, I like that.
Okay.
I think we have a
Losing week,
great
we're
week
toning
coming
it
up.
down.
I might even throw a lock in for you, and I've got one. I've got one that is 100% hitting.
Oh, I'm not betting.
Don't bet it. That's okay, but it's 100% hitting. So America should bet it.
That's not.
That's hitting. It's hitting,
that's-
and I'll tell you why when we get to it. But around the NFL, big news today. Big news today. Russell Wilson benched. Benched because of contract reasons. Not played because when you look at his numbers, as I quickly pull up his numbers, because I definitely had them ready. Not. Russ was solid. 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 picks. I mean, that is fantastic, genuinely. Like that's a really good season so far with 2 games to go. And they're like, they have an 8% chance to make the playoffs, so obviously not looking very good. Mm-hmm. But I think he's cut. I think this just guarantees he's gone after this season. Right? It has to.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, when you look at Russ's numbers, they're a little misleading.
Definitely misleading.
His air yards are dead last in the NFL by a lot.
By a lot,
You know, he's dinking and dunking, getting a lot of yak, and that's inflating his numbers quite a bit. Cortland Sutton's been really hammering home a lot of those yards and just trying to hold Russ afloat.
Yeah.
I will say though, I feel like that's Sean Payton's offense.
That is more of
it's like
Michael Thomas,
but
stuff
still
like that.
though, I mean.
But even then, I remember Drew Brees could before he
Oh,
was
yeah,
old.
I know,
Could go
push
deep.
it down the
Right,
field.
right.
Yeah.
So is he just doing what he has to with Russ?
Yeah.
I don't know if they were ever that tight. He took over this team with Russ already locked in as a quarterback, and the problem and why they're benching him sucks for Russ. Because they're like, if you get hurt and can't pass a physical in March, you're guaranteed an extra $37 million.
Yeah, it's true.
This way, if they cut him after this season, their dead cap for next year is only $80 million.
Yeah.
It's only double the highest ever dead cap money, which was Matt Ryan with the Falcons at $40 million. His is 80.7. It would be number 1 in dead cap history. He'd have the number 1 cap hit in the NFL next season of all players. And the following season, he'd still have a top 10 cap hit in the NFL for dead money, too.
Yep.
That trade and contract looks... We have all seen this now. Do not trade for a great quarterback and pay him, because that isn't working. Deshaun Watson hasn't done...
cap in history until Deshaun Watson.
Until Deshaun Watson, yes.
Yeah.
In 2 years when the Browns cut him, because Joe Flacco looks fantastic with this offense
They're gonna re-sign Joe Flacco.
Yeah, bring him back. Run it back. Why not? Why not? But I'm surprised they benched him, but I'm not at the same time for contract reasons. But man, they were 7-8. Some people sitting up here right now, had them as a top 6 team in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean they were rolling.
They were on fire. They were 5-1 in their last 6 games.
6-1-7.
Yeah, 6-1-7.
I just also got to look at this from Sean Payton's perspective. Like, was this something that he's on board
Is this
with?
his
like,
decision?
He came back and picked Denver out
Right,
of all
he
teams.
chose that team.
Exactly, and understood Russ was there, and it's like now we're gonna get rid of him. Like, what's up? Does Sean Payton want to coach a team that's gonna potentially be tanking
And falling
what I mean?
apart?
I don't know.
I mean, and they're not going to get anything trading him. Nobody's going to trade for him in that contract.
No.
So you either cut him and eat the money, or you keep him on the team. And where do you go? I mean, you've won 7 games.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a quarterback in the first round that's going to be any good next year. Like, is Sean Payton committing to a rebuild right now? That doesn't feel like him.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about it earlier in the year before Denver went on the run. They were one of the teams that, like, if they were to get rid of Russ, you know, and it's like, if they get rid of him now, as crazy as it is, I still think it's the best option, though, because after the second year, it's done. You know what I mean? And the contract is over after 2 years of some crazy dead money, but it's like, you might have to eat that if that's what they want to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if they keep him throughout this next league season, like when that March time hits, if he can't pass a physical or whatever, like then another year's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Like now you're paying him for the 2024 season and 2025 season, and then you'll have dead cap in 2026 if you cut him. Like they are stuck with him with paying him at least until 2026.
Just don't know what that plan is.
Then what's the next step for Russ? You know,
right?
Will
Where's he go?
Be a backup? Like, would he even accept being a backup?
I don't know. It'd be weird to see him as a
lot of
backup.
teams.
There's a lot of teams that
I
could
feel
use
like
a QB.
he would go somewhere. He would be a starter somewhere. Just be
Definitely.
way less of a contract.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Like,
he just have to
could he-
accept that.
Atlanta,
People
maybe
maybe?
that are winning too much to draft.
To draft a
top-
QB,
Yeah,
he
I
could
mean,
be a hot commodity in free
Atlanta,
agency.
Yeah,
He
he
could
got
be solid,
cut.
man.
He got cut.
Vegas would be a good spot for him.
Yeah.
I think this has to stem back, like you mentioned, contract, which makes a lot of sense. You move on from him, cut as many losses.
Do it
as
now.
you can.
Yep.
Helps your draft position, although minimally.
Kind of.
I think it stems back a little bit to like that outburst we saw in Detroit as well, or Detroit. Sorry.
Yeah, when Peyton was laying into him.
Where Sean Payton kind of went at it, and then another losing week, another more built-up frustration. Like you cannot sit here with a straight face and be like, Jared Stidham is a better option to win than Russell Wilson.
Yeah, when Schefter words it as looking to spark the offense, it's like you're full of shit. See what can happen with Jared Stidham, my ass. Nothing. We know.
Happening with Russ, but less.
Yeah, but even worse actually. Now watch him go out and light it up this week.
I don't know. We saw he had like 2 games last year with the Raiders.
Yeah, and they're like, this is Jared Stidham. Jared Stidham was out there playing.
Well, we've got to return Patriot way with McDaniels.
That's right. Yeah, Josh McDaniels knew the system, dude. Knew the system.
Who's the OC? Was he ever a Patriot?
Probably. I don't know. But Russ, benched. We'll see what that all turns into and what Denver does going forward. Damn it, man. The AFC West these past 2 seasons was supposed to be this unbelievable division. Russell Wilson and the Broncos. Derek Carr and the Raiders. Justin Herbert and the Chargers. Let me tell you how that's going. Kansas City Chiefs look, this season they're I have a feeling they're not going to make any of our power rankings. The Chargers have completely dismantled their front office, fired their head coach, are in complete disarray. Looked actually better last week than they had all season with Herbert. The Broncos no longer have a quarterback. And the Raiders have benched their quarterback and fired their head coach. It's like, wow, nice job, AFC West. Way to really step up and challenge the Chiefs here instead of just letting them. 2
years ago, this was the best division.
Best division of football. 4 wins, or four teams with above 500 records, definitely. And now it's like, okay, now we have 3 teams that are borderline rebuilding. Definitely in the Broncos and Raiders. Chargers won't be able to exactly rebuild, but new GM, new head coach, they're going to want to put their stamp on things, man. There could be some movement there.